Hello, my name is Megan Terry. I'm a 22-year-old education major, and ideally, I would like to teach the first or second grade. What I like about math, there is always an answer that you are working to solve for. That way, I know that I am understanding concepts I am taught and can solve them successfully. Whereas in English courses, there are multiple right answers to a question and multiple ways of interpreting a single concept. What I dislike about math, there are many different formulas and terms that you must dedicate to memory. If you don't, then it can quickly become overwhelming for students. For this assignment, I chose Pythagorean Theorem as my topic. I used it quite a bit in my collegiate career so far, and it's what I remember the most about from my school days, so I think that it is super important for students to familiarize themselves with. Pythagorean Theorem states that the sum of the squares of the legs of a right triangle equals the square of the length of the hypotenuse, also known as c squared equals a squared plus b squared. A right triangle always has two legs, and across from the right angle is the hypotenuse, which is the longest side in a right triangle. I included this blue triangle, and I labeled the side legs A and B, and then your hypotenuse is C. And I included the formulas and how you would solve for them in each different scenario, depending on what side you're solving for. I also included a visual aid of squares making a triangle, and then so the smallest square has a side length of 3, which means it has a area of 9. The second biggest square has a side length of 4, which means it has a area of 16, and the biggest square has a side length of 5, which means it has an area of 25. So using our formula, a squared plus b squared equals c squared, we plug in our values in this scenario, which are going to be a and b are going to be 3 and 4, and c is going to be 5. So 3 squared plus 4 squared equals 5 squared. We know that 3 squared is 9, 4 squared is 16, and 5 squared is 25. And then when you add 9 and 16 together, you get 25. So 25 equals 25, so you know you solved this problem correctly. Examples. Example number 1. Two sides of a right triangle are 9 and 12. Find the hypotenuse. So first we're going to start out by drawing our triangle. I labeled sides A and B. A is going to be 9, B is going to be 12, and then in this scenario we're solving for C. So using our formula, a squared plus b squared equals c squared, we're going to plug in our values for A and B, which is 9 and 12. So 9 squared equals 81, 12 squared equals 144, and when you add those together, it gives us a value of 225. To solve for c, we're going to take the square root of both sides, and we get a value of c equals 15. Example number 2. A 15-foot ladder is placed so that it reaches the top of a 12-foot wall. How far from the base of the building is the ladder positioned? So again, we're going to start out by drawing our triangle. And this, we know we have a leg with a length of 12 and a hypotenuse with a length of 15. So in this scenario, we're actually solving for b, the other leg of this triangle. So using our formula, a squared plus b squared equals c squared, we're going to plug in our values for a and c. So we get 12 squared plus b squared equals 15 squared. We know that 12 squared equals 144 and 15 squared equals 225. So rearranging this formula, we get b squared equals 81 because we're going to subtract 225 or 144 from 225. Taking the square root of both sides, we get b equals 9. Students may have the following problems: trouble memorizing the formula, trouble being able to square numbers and find the square roots of numbers. How to fix this problem? Dedicate the formula to memory. Once you memorize it, you're never going to forget it. Familiarize yourself with perfect squares. For example, these are 9, 16, 25. Any number times itself. If you memorize these, it's going to make solving these problems that much easier. Learn how to plug into the calculator. To do this, you can actually solve for the problems or check your work. Visual aids such as the triangle, or the squares I included in our the second to last slide, and don't be afraid to ask questions ever. Online learning. At such a young age when children lack discipline while learning online, they can prove to be easily distracted and unmotivated. Therefore, I think that it is ineffective for children in primary grades. A traditional classroom setting will leave students far more successful. And that's the end of my presentation. Thank you.